Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Muta. My name is Lolo Cynthia. Muta means to learn, and on this week's episode we're going to be doing a whole lot of learning. I believe it's high time that I sort of embody my YouTube name. I think I've begun to embody it a bit. So yes, on today's episode I'll be discussing the outcast system in the Igbo land. If you're not familiar with what Osu means, these are people that have been referred to as outcasts, believed to also be the sacrifice to the gods, in the essence that they become the slaves of the gods, and also they help the priests and high priestess during the indigenous religious rituals. And when I say gods, I'm talking about the ancient or indigenous religion back then. Some people have sort of compared their roles and responsibilities to the altar boys in the Catholic Church. So I don't know if that, I'm going to go with that comparison, but that's a topic for a different day. How can one acquire the Osu tag or label, or let's say status. Let's go with status. I think that's more appropriate. There have been so many tales, and because there's so many tales from different Igbo land, there is no one story to it. But I'm just going to tell you a bit from what I know. Well, they said back in those days, during intertribal wars, the people that won, so the spoils of war, that's what we call the people that they were captured, so the slaves that they would get during those wars, when they are sold off to a new master, and this master decides to give them away to their gods in a bid to maybe appease or gift them, they become Osu. So these slaves that were captured during war become the Osu because they were gifted from them. They were gifted to the gods by their master. Sorry, why is my mouth tongue-tied? It's also believed that, back then, a lot of the indigenous religious practices involved human sacrifices. So these slaves were given to the gods for this human sacrifice. Before I continue, there are three stages that I want to talk to us about. The first one are the Osus. I just explained that that's the slave to the gods. The second are the Ohus. These are the slaves to the masters. These are the people that were gotten from, from war. While the third are the Wadialas. The Wadialas are referred to as the freeborns, the son of the soil. So in terms of the hierarchy of social class or social status, the Osu caste system insinuates that the Wadialas are the right at the top. Those are the freeborns, while the Osus are right at the middle. Then the Ohus are right at the bottom because they are the slaves. It's also been believed that vulnerable communities that knew that there was no way they were going to win a war, or they were going to win an intertribal war, would usually seek refuge in a shrine nearby. And the moment the priest or the priestesses acknowledges these people that have been, that have come to their shrine for refuge, they automatically take on the Osu tag, in the sense that they run to the shrine to volunteer themselves or to give themselves up to the gods. And so many of them would rather do that than become slaves. And back then, when you are a slave or when you've been gotten from war, they usually sell the slaves to the white man as well. So a lot of people were like, no, we don't want that. We would rather just become Osu and keep our life. And I'm sure you're wondering that why is it that people run to the shrine? What is it that the shrine can do to them? Well, if you're someone with the Osu status, you are immediately immune to harm. It's said that if you hurt someone that's an Osu, and they go back and they cry to their gods, because they are slaves to the gods, and apparently it's been said that they can manipulate the gods for their own benefit. It's a very long story. If they go to the gods and they cry to them, the gods will punish you for hurting one of their own, for hurting their slave. You get that kind of thing. So a lot of people used to fear them and they used to respect them, quote unquote. So these are different ways that people can acquire the Osu status. There's one that's quite gets to me, is the fact that when you do something bad, you become an Osu. So if you do something that is not socially acceptable, or something that is seen as criminal in the society, like rape, incest, murder, you automatically become an Osu person. Due to urbanization, there's no way that people are going for intertribal wars anymore. We're not going for intertribal wars. We're not going to give humans to the gods or slaves. But this system, or this phenomena, let's call it, is still quite prevalent. And why is it quite prevalent? It's because there are two ways that people still acquire the Osu tag, and one that's through inheritance, and the other is through marriage. Inheritance: when you're born in an Osu family, you automatically become an Osu. So no matter what you do, you can't take off that status. You're an Osu person. Secondly, if a non-Osu, that's a Wadiala or a freeborn, should get married to an Osu person, the person automatically becomes an Osu, because getting married to an Osu person, if you're freeborn and you get married to an Osu person, it's seen as a taboo, as an abomination, and people would not want to associate with you. In modern times, though, due to colonization and the emergence of Western religion, Christianity, this caste system has declined a lot. I can't say it's been eliminated, it hasn't, but it has reduced. Like in states like Anambra, most of their communities have fully integrated the Osu people back into the community. But in some places like my place, now I'm from Imo State, and funny enough, my community, which is called Umaka, has a village called Osu that's just right at the market square, close to the market square. I remember as a child, I went back to the village and they're like, these people have Bundi Osu now. I was like, really? I didn't really understand the concept then. And it's actually been said that, most of the Osu communities used to reside close to geophysical landmarks like rivers, mountain caves, even marketplaces, because it's been said that those are the places that the gods used to reside. So the Osu people are meant to live close to their masters, quote unquote. So this is something that is still quite there. Like in my state, Umaka, where a village is called Osu, you can imagine the level of discrimination and isolation that can definitely, arise from such a situation. So, what I find slightly amusing though is the fact that such a high percentage of the Igbos are Christians, which means that we're meant to debunk these beliefs, right? Because they are associated with, the local religion, the ancient heathen, all these pagan religions, and which goes against our own religion. But it's so difficult to do that. The Osu caste system is such a huge practice in the indigenous religion. And when it comes to Africa as a whole, not even only Igbo, most of the native religion is so intertwined with our culture that it's difficult to, shake both of them out. I know even if you're an Igbo person and you've heard of the masquerade festival, a lot of Christians say that we're not meant to attend because it's deeply associated with, the native religion or the indigenous religious practices back then. But people will say, but it's our culture now, how can we abandon it? So there's always that clash. And what this makes us see now is that we get a lot of, Christians, a lot of Igbo Sunday church goers who are still very loyal to their indigenous cultural practices. I don't know if you've read this Chinua Achebe's book. I absolutely love Chinua Achebe. This book, Things Fall Apart, there is a scene in that book that discusses what we just talked about, this clash between culture and religion. Okay, let me just give you this synopsis. The missionaries have just come to the community and they've set up their church and they're looking for converts. Why they're looking for converts, two Osu people get into the church. There's an uproar, there's a protest. Everyone wants to chase them out of the church. The father said no, they're not leaving the church. And this is what the freeborns who have become Christians say about them. It's a person dedicated to a god. So we're talking about the Osu person, yeah? This person we're referring to. He's a person dedicated to a god, a thing set apart, a taboo forever, and his children after him forever. He could neither marry nor be married by the freeborn. He was in fact an outcast, living in a special area of the village, close to the great shrine. Wherever he went, he carried with him the mark of his forbidden caste, long, tangled and dirty hair. A razor was taboo to him. An Osu could not attend an assembly of the freeborn, and they in turn could not shelter under his roof. He could not take any of the 4 titles of the clan, and when he died, he was buried by his kind in the evil forest. So this is what is just happening in the church. So you can see that there are Christians in the church, but they would not associate with the Osu person because of what they believe about this Osu person. Well, if you read the book, the Reverend Father refuses to let them go. He says that they're going to still remain there, and because of this won over a lot of Osu people to the Western religion, to the Christian. And I'm talking about the book, but this is actually historically correct. Because a lot of Osus, were easily converted to Christianity because they were promised that with this new religion, everyone is equal in God's right, equal rights and responsibilities. There are no superiority. You're not you're not a slave to the gods. Cut your hair, nothing's gonna happen to you. So this won a lot of people who have been regarded as the outcast for a very long time. You know what I believe have made this Osu issue still quite prevalent is the punishment for disobedience. One, it's actually broken into 2 levels, right? So the first is that there's this fear of being ostracized. So no one wants to be an outcast. Then the second level, after the first one, is the fear of, the wrath of the gods, in the sense that the gods are going to come punish you. So I can decide to get married to an Osu person and be like, I don't really care if my village people don't talk to me, because honestly, we don't talk anyway. But I will be like, what about my immediate family? Can I stand it if my immediate family members don't talk to me? You can say, Fashi, my extended family, I know you send. But what about my immediate family, my siblings, my parents? Can I stand it? I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people can stand it. And these are the questions that we need to ask. Because when you say, oh, you can't marry an Osu person, you just be, this one, discrimination. But no, people want and need to feel like they're in a community. And this sort of challenges that. And that is one of the reasons a lot of people have refused to, get married to the Osu people. A lot of people have refused to also associate with these people. I don't know if you've read this book. I'm going to talk about Chuna Achebe again. The name of the book is No Longer at Ease. There's this part in the book, a scene in the book. So one of the characters is about to get married, or wants to get married to his Osu lover, but he's a Diala, and this is what his father tells him. Osu is like leprosy in the minds of our people. I beg you, my son, not to bring the mark of shame and leprosy into the family. If you do, your children and your children's children into the third and fourth generation will curse your memory. It is not for myself I speak. My days are few. You will bring sorrow on your head and on the heads of your children. Who will marry your daughters? Whose daughters will your sons marry? Think about that, my son. We are Christians, but we cannot marry our own daughters. Do you see that? Just from this little thing, you can see the kind of fear that people are already conditioned to. In the sense that some people can be like, see, all this stress is too much. It's true. What about my children? That even if I were doing it for love, my children might not be able to mingle with other people, and it could cause them to have low self-esteem. It could cause them to be suicidal. These are things that people begin to think about, that is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? And that's why a lot of people cut it. So sometimes it's not as easy as it is to just say, no, I'm not associating with them. But we need to understand where people are coming from. Then there's the second level. If you've decided to be like, you know what, I don't really care, I'm going to marry this Osu person. Second level now is the fear of the wrath of the gods. Because you never really know if it's true or not. That's the honest truth. We just want to believe. Because when it comes to religion, like all of us, a lot of people begin to act illogical. And you know that it's not easy to disobey when you don't really understand something. And with what we don't understand, people fear it. And when people fear what they don't understand, or what they cannot see, or what they cannot prove for real, a lot of people just tend to follow those rules and be like, I beg, let me not just try anything. I'd rather safe than sorry. Sure, you get. So that fear of the wrath of the gods is one I think is very, very deep, in the sense that even the act of being ostracized from your community, the act of becoming an outcast, is due to the fear of the wrath of the gods. So it's not that they just don't want to associate with you, it's that they are afraid of what the gods would do. So when you see marriages or relationships where, an Osu and a Nwadiala are together, people begin to anticipate the misfortune. And even a small misfortune is regarded as a consequences for their sins. That's the idea that people, and that's the belief that people carry. And I know that I always tell people, I said, I believe that relationships in this situation where Osu and non-Osu, the reason they're ruined is not because of the consequences of their sin. It's because of the fear of the consequences of their sin. So it's sort of like a mind, I don't want to use mind fuck, but it's something like that it messes with your mind, and that is what ruins the relationship. So with all this, you can really understand why it's not such an easy conversation to have, or an easy belief to debunk. And when someone asks you, can you marry an Osu person, and people freak out, it's not the right thing to do. And don't be in a hurry to judge them. It takes time to eradicate these beliefs, because we've been conditioned for so long, to believe these tales from birth. Even I myself, I find it hard to shake it off, because your rational mind knows that this thing really makes no sense. But your emotional mind, it's been registered there that you never know. That fear has been registered for so long. So I know it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but I believe it's under this discomfort that this issue prevails. And until we bring it up, can we actually begin to, find solutions or actually rectify this phenomenon. I would love to hear your views on this issue. Please drop a comment. Is this phenomenon something that's also common in your own community. You must not be Igbo. I think in those states as well, they have something like this. In India, there's a caste system as well. So drop your comments and tell me if it's something that you have in your own community. If you can marry an Osu person, tell me what you think. If you can't, tell me why. If you know someone or you've heard of someone who's an Osu that married in Wadiala, a freeborn, quote unquote, tell me how it's going, what you believe about it. If you are an Osu, and I put this in quote because I do not subscribe to this caste system, please drop your views about what you think about it. It will be really, really enlightening to get your own point of view. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's vlog. If you really enjoyed this video, please tell me. It's the new direction I'm like, I want to go with my video, so I need to know if it's something you like so I can continue to make videos that you guys actually like. Thank you for watching this week's vlog. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Lolo_CY. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and share the video once you are done. Thank you for watching. My name is Lolo Cynthia, and I will see you next week.